this tutorial, I'm going to talk about a really quick and easy way to make captions for your photographs. So this is the original. I color copied it, so I'll set that aside. So I want to think about what the caption is going to be for each one of my photographs. But before I do that, I want to measure this photograph because I want my caption to match. I don't want it to be like too big or too small. So I want it to match the size of the photo. So this is 3¼ inches. So I'll write that down, 3.25. And then I'll name this photograph, I think I'm going to just call it Author Smiling. That's me in the photograph. And then I'll write a caption to match that. Now I will do the same thing with all of my photographs. And I will write down how big they are. I'll give it a name, and then I'll start thinking about what my caption is going to be. And then I'll go on over to the computer and start my Word document.
I'm at the computer now. I've opened a new Word document. The first thing I want to do is I want to come up here to the upper left-hand side and click on Layout, because I want to switch my layout from portrait to landscape. So I'll go ahead and click on that. So landscape gives me a little more area to create my captions, especially if I have a very large photograph that's going to have like a 10-inch long caption. I'll have space for that. Okay, so then I'll click back over here to the Home toolbar, and I'll come up to the very far right-hand corner, and I will click on Insert Text Box, and that will give me these crosshairs that I can just go ahead and click and then drag the size that I want. So I measured that photograph at 3¼ inches. So I'll go ahead and click that. That should be good. 3¼ inches by 1½ inches tall. I may have to adjust the height, but we'll see what happens. So I've got the cursor up here in the corner, and I don't want my caption to be right up against the edge of my cutting area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the cursor, and I'll do a return so that I start on the next line down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just type in my sentence. It's going to be the project author, Jeanette, that's me, smiles for the camera in 1963. Okay, period. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my text, and I would like to format it a little bit. I don't really like this. This is kind of, to me, kind of a boring font. So I'm going to choose a different one. I'm going with Avenir Roman. And to me, that's a nice, clean, slightly more interesting option than Arial, which is a good choice as well. Let's see. So then I want to bump up the size a little bit. 12 is a little bit too small for me to see. So I'm going to go with 16 for this size. So, seems like this box is a little bit too long now. So I'm going to bump that up. The height is a little too long. So that looks just about right. So I just sort of bumped up the size. So let's see, what size is that now? It's 3¼ by 1.13. Okay, so that's really nice, and I could print that out, but then I'd have to measure it to get some nice lines to cut it. So here's the trick. I'm going to click on the box, and I'm going to then right-click while I'm in the box, and I will get this nice little window here, and I'll come down here and I'll left-click on Format Shape. And that's going to give me a whole bunch of options for things that I can do with my text box. But what I want to do is I want to create a line, a permanent line that I can use to do my cutting. So I'll come over here. I've clicked on line. It says no line, so I click on here to get a line. pick a color. And so you could pick any color you wanted, but I'm just going to pick black. And then I will click OK. And I'll click over here into my document to close that box. And there you go. That's how it will print out. So I will have this line that I can use to cut away the bits of the paper that I don't need, and I'll have a nice, perfect rectangle. Now, if I would like to bump this up a little bit and leave the line as part of the caption, I can click on that again, right click to get my format shape. And then what I can do is I can come over here to the weights and arrows, and what that will do is that will change the weight of the line from this skinny 0.75 point line. I come over here and I can bump up the line, and you'll see the line is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'll go to about a 5. That'll be nice. But you notice it kind of changes what's happening with everything else. So I'm going to have to go back in and reformat that. But I'm going to click OK. So now I've got to reformat this. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. Oh, totally. I'm going to go like this, center it, and then I can pull this down just a little bit to give me a little more space. So adding the weight to the line sort of crowded my caption a little bit, so I needed to do some adjustments. Okay, there you go. Now we're ready to add more. We can just add more text boxes. Okay, so my next one is going to be 2.5. I'm going to type in my caption. I'm going to format my shape, and then I'll fill this up, totally fill this up, and then print it out when I have all of my captions. And there you go. And we'll go over to the cutting table.